Yeah, Mummy's coming in a minute. There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh, sunlight. So we are going to go and see my sister-in-law today, which is fine, except she lives on the other side of London and traffic is awful. Okay, and his toothbrush. We're going to put Jasper to sleep in the car on the way back. You might have noticed that I'm talking more and more about editing in my videos, which I don't like, but what that basically signifies is I'm falling behind and I need to catch up, which is why I tried to do a kind of catch-up video yesterday, which will hopefully be a bit quicker and easier to edit. Although you'll have already seen it by the time you watch this one. It's kind of weird the way it all kind of gets jumbled up like that, time-wise. It really feels like this summer EVs have gone from potential future vehicles to very definitely the future of vehicles. I mean, every car manufacturer seems to be making them these days, or planning to make them. This is the perfect example of why I like CHAdeMO. Don't know if you can see from that camera angle, can you see? Not quite. But there's two other cars using both the other CHAdeMO points. And there's a third CHAdeMO point here, but this one has only got CHAdeMO and Type 2. So if I was in a CCS car, like the i3, that would basically mean I couldn't charge. Or at least not without waiting. Saves us stopping on the way back because it's quite a long way to my sister-in-law's. I think it's 90 miles each way. So I'm not going to get home with only 20, 30 miles left in the battery. I'll want more than that. So this will hopefully just give us that extra bit of buffer. But yeah, CHAdeMO. In my humble opinion, at least in the UK, it is a substantially more built out infrastructure. I mean, there's 3 CHAdeMO points here, but only, well, there's 1 CCS there, there's 1 CCS point and 3 CHAdeMOs, and 2 of the CHAdeMOs have got a Type 2 on them. In other words, if you're driving a Nissan Leaf or a Tesla Model S with a CHAdeMO adapter, or the Kia Soul, which is also a CHAdeMO car, I believe, then you've got 3 chargers to choose from. And if you're in a CCS car, you've got 1. And if you're in a Type 2 charging car, you've got, like the Renault Zoe for example, you've got a choice of 2. The problem is that most cars will take Type 2 charge, of course, almost all of them. However, for most of them, they'll only charge at 3 or 6 kilowatts, which is just appallingly slow. And it's only the Renault Zoe and the Tesla that can charge at more than, well, my Tesla will do 22, a newer Tesla will do 16, and the Renault Zoe, of course, will take the full 43. Well, if it's got the chameleon charger. If it hasn't got that, then it'll do 22, which is still reasonable. Right, anyway, waffled on long enough about chargers. So for the reason why we're stopping now, it's actually a little bit earlier than I was originally planning, is because Jasper needed an emergency toilet trip. Always better to satisfy those emergency toilet requests before they involve cleaning out the back of the car. You know, that was a sign of how things have changed. When I started driving a Nissan Leaf 4 years ago, I got excited when I saw another car charging, and here there were 2 other cars charging when we turned up, a Nissan Leaf and an i3. It's amazing. It's really starting to, well, I wouldn't call it mainstream because it's 3 spaces out of 300, but it's definitely moving towards a much more sort of common sight. And my charger's finished. Still look forward to the day when everyone's charging. It's going to require a bit of earthworks, I think, on the power delivery front. That is the longest drive to a garden centre I've ever had. About 2.5 hours or something. Admittedly, Jasper's toilet stop didn't help.
Bad for my dad.
Yeah, you were in the car for a long time, weren't you? Oh, Jazzy.
You did really well, Muppet.
Tell you what was cool. On the drive up, I saw a bunch of Teslas, a bunch of Nissan Leafs, electric cars. They're basically everywhere now.
Hello. Do you know what flavour it is?
My sister-in-law is already home. That's where we're heading now. I've done some editing in the back of the car while Jasper was at the playground. There you go, just a quick update. It's been good fun. It was a nice meal, wasn't it? I thought the food was okay.
Dad, and I jumped.
Savannah didn't love it.
And Dad, I
Oh,
jumped.
fair enough.
I jumped high up in the sky.
Oh, and Jasper jumped high up in the sky. Right, it's now raining cats and dogs. So I think it's time to go get some coffee. Not a massive fan of rain. Still, if it's got to rain, better now than next week. Whilst I was sitting in the back of the car doing my editing, I saw another couple of EVs go by. I think it was a Nissan Leaf and an i3, if I remember correctly. So it's definitely getting there. Is the car locked? Yes. Thing is though, there are still people out there that basically haven't heard of EVs, which I do find truly incredible in this day and age. Don't they have the internet? Have they not watched anything on the BBC recently? Although, admittedly, the BBC is an awful source of information when it comes to EVs. Hello. I really didn't think this was going to happen, but somehow I have managed to finish my editing. Careful, Jasper, not near the laptop, monkey. All delicate stuff round here. Okay, I'll give you a cuddle in a minute though, when I've got my coffee. Video's uploading. That's my coffee. Fantastic. I love this coffee mug. I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
What, Dad's like... Look at Opie's nuts. Did you see it?
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Obi.
Say bye.
You're a cutie. You're a cutie. No, time for bed, monkey. Probably hungry. Just had a big... Soph, plaster immediately. Bring it here. He just sucked his fingers. No, no, I'm not having that. I'm not playing that game all the way home. Yes, Jasper.
Later, I'm going to wear my new t-shirt.
Ah, I see. You're going to bed first. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. We're putting him to bed in the car, obviously. Yes, you are a heavy, heavy chicken.
And I also got a new t-shirt.
You've got a new t-shirt. Were you going to wear that tomorrow?
Oh.
Here you go. That was a fun little 90-mile journey back. And on the way back, I saw two Teslas on the M25 and an i3. Fairly average, to be honest, for these days. And that might not sound like a lot, but a few years ago, when I saw any electric car anywhere, I was like, ooh, another EV. Definitely progress. Also, I just wanted to jump back to what I was saying about the whole CHAdeMO versus CCS thing, because I do think that that is quite important, and it's one of those things that if you don't actually own an EV and you don't actually try to take it long distances, you might not be aware of. If I'd been driving a CCS car, the 20-minute stop where we put in the extra 45 miles that we needed to get home without using the whole battery, which we could have just done admittedly, but you know me, always Mr. Cautious. That 20-minute stop, we just pulled straight in. I hadn't checked the app to see if they were free. I hadn't even checked the app to see if there were any quick chargers at that services. I just assumed there were. We turned up, drove into whichever one was available because it didn't matter. They all had CHAdeMO. And then 20 minutes later, on we went. The only reason we stopped was because Jasper needed the loo. So it just shows you that sort of flexibility and the fact that you didn't need to plan at all, and that's what makes EVs work and fit into life. We would have stopped anyway because, you know, small child back of the car needs to loo, it's a good idea. So actually, no inconvenience at all. So there you go, that's my my primary take home from today. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. Woo. You know, sometimes it'd be nice to have more than just one free hand ever. But hey.
I have got my sockies on.
At least it stopped raining. Right. We've got 90 electric propelled miles to do now.